Hey, Dean, we were talking about how Elon Musk just dropped the bomb on cryptocurrency, especially on Bitcoin, by saying, oh, it's inefficient, right? We got to figure out ways to make it more efficient. But that just crushed the price of Bitcoin instantaneously when he said that. The news took it out of context and they just ran with the story. And everybody kind of hopped on the bandwagon and said, oh, Elon Musk hates Bitcoin now, so I'm going to sell all my Bitcoin. And we watched Bitcoin plummet after that. Um, but one of the things that was really interesting, you turned around and you asked a question and you said, hey, Gary, you know, you ever thought of this? Have you ever thought about how much efficiency or energy inefficiency there is in the normal stock market, in the normal banking system, in the normal financial world? And I'm like, well, I don't really know the answer to that question, but I do know that cryptocurrency seems to suck up a lot. This mining process seems to suck up a lot of energy. So it was interesting because I wanted to go back and do some research, and I've been searching around. And of all people, Michael Saylor, who's a total data analytics guy, did the homework. And I was hoping to share with you some of the data that came out of that. Now, bear with me. I have very, very sloppy notes here. So I'm actually going off of my notes here. But I was writing it down as fast as I could and trying to capture as much as I had. But in the world, in the world, we burn and use 160 terawatt hours of power every year. That's a huge number, terawatt. I can't even wrap my mind around that. Um, so I don't know how much of that goes into Bitcoin mining. We could theorize that 90% goes into Bitcoin mining, 10% goes into Bitcoin mining. I actually suspect it's less than 1%, right? I don't know the answer to that question. I don't have the actual stats, but I think it's a very low percent of that energy consumption.
Yeah, I would think it would have to be a tiny
But
fraction.
here is the key point. I believe when you look at how much you pay in energy and what you can convert that into, you have to look at that statistic. And that's what Michael Saylor looked at. And I think it was very interesting his approach. He said, Bitcoin mining is the highest value and use of energy. And I had to sit there and figure that out. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? And he backed that up with some really interesting data. I'm going to add this point. I now believe that Bitcoin mining actually drives innovation in the energy sector. And I'm going to let that hang and let people think about that. I might circle back before the end of the video, or maybe we can chat about that. But maybe it will all start coming into play as you hear these statistics. I only have a few of them, but they're very interesting. So bear with me. Google uses $180 billion in energy a year. $180 billion in energy a year to get $1.8 trillion of revenue. Okay? So if you do the math with me, $1 of the energy spent equals $10 of revenue at Google. So it's a 1 to 10 ratio. Pretty good, right? Say that's pretty awesome. But compare that to Bitcoin. And I'm going to let you take a guess at how much energy we spend mining Bitcoin every year.
How much in
How
dollars?
How much money in US dollars do we spend on mining energy? I know it's just a guess, so just guess. Wild guess.
In the whole world on all Bitcoin?
Yep.
I don't know. Well, let's see. Google's spending 100 billion. Well, it's got to be less than. Does it have to be less than Google? I don't know. I'll say 20 billion.
Oh, it is less than Google, and you're really close. I actually thought it was going to be as much, if not more than Google, right? It's $4 billion is spent in energy costs worldwide, 4 billion. But the net result of that is $800 billion in value. Now do the math on that. That's a 1 to 200 ratio. 4 billion versus 800 billion out the back end. That's 200 to 1 return. So when he says the highest value use of energy is crypto and Bitcoin, he's not wrong. Okay, that's 20 times better than Google. Now, to get back to your question from last week or 2 weeks ago, how does that compare to the financial and banking world, the traditional system? Are you ready for this? $1 spent in the S&P is $4 of return.
In
You can almost hear the $4 of return. So $1 spent in energy in the S&P
energy?
is
Okay.
$4 of return.
Okay.
JP Morgan, because these are all coming off the balance sheets, right? JP Morgan, if they spend $1 of energy, they get $3.80 of
Yeah.
return.
Okay. So yeah. So is Elon gonna tweet about the inefficiency of of all of these systems?
We certainly should. I would be the first one to do that if I had Elon Musk's name, right? Maybe I
Didn't
need to go.
didn't Elon and Michael Saylor, is that his name? Saylor?
Yeah.
Didn't they form a group along with like miners in the US to make the efficiency better or something like that?
I understand that there's something going on in that direction. And I also understand that there's a lot of mining moving back into the United States recently because of China. Whether
Yeah.
that has to do with Elon Musk and Michael Saylor, I don't have enough information to answer your question. But I know that we're seeing a lot of mining operations starting to come on to life here in America because of what's going on in China. So that's all I know. That's all I can tell you. I have
Okay.
one more statistic for you, and I think you're going to be blown away. And I have to
Okay.
double check this one, but this is what he said. I'm just taking what Michael Saylor, multi-billionaire who just invested 500 million into Bitcoin recently. This is what he had to say. The airlines, they spend $1 in energy, and guess how much they get back?
About $1.20, I guess.
Okay, 40 cents.
Yeah, they have to be subsidized to make up for the gap, right? My
This is true.
God.
He didn't do the U.S. Postal Service, but they're being subsidized by Amazon. But I guarantee that theirs is very similar. $1 spent is probably 10 cents of value. Um, as I was saying, Bitcoin mining is 20 times more efficient than Google, entire company. Um, it's 50 times more efficient than the banking and the stock market in returning based on its how much is spent. And we're not even going to talk about the airlines. That's so ridiculous. It's like 1,000x. The airlines are losing money for every dollar that they spend in energy. Crazy. So, anyhow, I thought that was kind of interesting. What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I love it. I think this narrative needs to get out there and
Right.
counteract all the. It's crazy. Yeah, it seems like the legacy industries are attacking Bitcoin. So it's a little surprising to have seen Musk get on board with that narrative, and a little disappointing. But certainly, hearing what you had to say today is encouraging, and I love it. That's great, and that's what I will tell anybody who wants to talk about the energy use of Bitcoin.
You know what? I think this is a great opportunity for our people that are watching this right now to hit the like button. Please comment and absolutely share this with your friends because this is the common misconception. And we haven't had any data to support us. Otherwise, we're always like, well, no, that doesn't sound right, blah, blah, blah. I've given you hard facts and details today that show you that Google is wasting far more energy. The banks are wasting far more energy. Airlines, oh my God, they're wasting the most energy. Bitcoin is only using $4 billion worth of energy. I mean, out of the 160 terawatt hours, I'm guessing 4 billion has to be like 0.01%. It has to be so minuscule. So, to all your friends out there that are saying, oh, it's not a green energy, it's not a green technology, it's not using green energy. Well, look what they just did and what they announced. Was it Argentina or Venezuela or one or the other? They just announced that they're going to use
Oh, I did see
volcanoes
that headline. Yeah,
as
yeah.
the power
Uh,
source to mine Bitcoin. And this is what I was talking about driving innovation in energy. Because Bitcoin is energy inefficient, as they call it, and is using energy, we have some of the smartest people and some of the richest people coming together to come up with solutions. You got people like Michael Saylor, you got people like Elon Musk out there doing these things, along with all these smart technicians that have actually developed Bitcoin or developed the protocols, developed the networks. Look what's come out of it. We have ASICs technology. We actually have computers that are designed specifically to mine Bitcoin. They're super efficient that way. So we're seeing all kinds of advancements in technology around how to use energy and how to convert energy into this most efficient form. I think we're going to see a lot more of that, especially since Elon said what he did. The pressure's even on further, but you can see where Elon's going. You see where these countries are going. These people, these billionaires, as well as all these smart technicians, all can't be wrong. We're driving towards innovation in energy, and Bitcoin, you can tell all your friends right now, is the highest value of return on your energy investment.
Okay, well, sounds good. I hope people share it and share it in the communities that can really use this information, and let's change the narrative together.